to leave to come out of here with a win after that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Such an important game for us to, bounce back from the Tassie game. Some of the things we wanted to be better at tonight. Moving on from referees' calls and not getting distracted. I thought we worked hard on that as a group tonight to just, be better and be ready for the next play. I thought, there's still a rebounding area that we've got to continue to clean up, but in massive moments, Tanner Krebs, Kyle Bowen's offensive board, when we were 4 down to bring us back to level, we're huge. And then, an offensive rebound that kicks out to Tanner, for a 3-ball. So some really positive things on the rebounding. But yeah, just so many layups tonight that I just thought, we could have punched our leads a little bit more if we could have converted.
It felt like you were in control for a lot of the first 3 quarters, but I think what you would have been happy with the way they started the 4th quarter. Obviously, it had all the momentum, but to respond like you did, I mean, that place was rocking. They had all the momentum, but to then come out of that timeout and to take back control of the game, that's what would have been most pleasing, I assume.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest 4th quarter offensively when you score 12 points. And yeah, they had great momentum. They worked hard in the post. They got out in the break a little bit. We just didn't get the starting spots well at the start of the 4th quarter to initiate the offense that we wanted. And lots of clean up in execution for us.
How important was this result for the team? Obviously, you're coming off a loss, coming off a pretty bad, run over the last few weeks. I mean, you drop this game and things start to snowball a little bit. How important was it to get over the line?
Yeah, I think I'm, presented that case to the boys about just how important this game was, and for us just to get our disciplines back, and without Finn Delaney, who's been an absolute warrior, probably been our best player through this period after the FIBA window, and really been a great leader. So to miss him, but every time KB's had the opportunity to start or play major minutes, he's came up big, and so to make his couple of 3-balls tonight. But yeah, do a really solid job defensively and be a connector and screen well. I thought it was a real credit to him tonight.
That's what I was going to ask about with Kyle. It felt like he played a Finn Delaney sort of game, which is exactly what you needed from him. Yeah.
The 3-ball is important for our 4-man to be able to stretch it out, but their screening and their connection to the rest of the team is also so important. And Tyson had a real comfort level about him and KB being in the middle of the floor and making decisions together, and I had the same comfort.
And Chris as well. Obviously, he's feeling a bit better now, is he?
Yeah, slowly. You can still see the fatigue that he had, but he played his ass off tonight, and great that Tanner was able to come in, and rest him for that little bit, and and have him fresh for the kind of last couple of minutes of the game. But yeah, good to have him back in the starting lineup. Healthy enough to go do that, and nice that he gets a 3-ball off on his first possession, and got back to scoring a number that we hope he can continue to score.
What about you, Kyle? How are you feeling after that and the contributions you were able to make?
Yeah, like you say, just really grateful to get a win. As a group, we're not proud of the product of basketball we put out these last couple of games, and Dino preached before the game that this wasn't necessarily a do or die, but it was a critical point in our season, and I think the boys showed up for the first 3 quarters. Obviously, there's stuff we want to tidy up throughout the game, and especially in that 4th quarter, but with guys out such as Finn and Shea, which are key pieces of our offense and defense, just thankful we got the win, and we're looking to kind of build forward and improve coming up in January with this away stretch.
With everything Finn has been doing, knowing that you're coming in to fill his role tonight, what sort of things did you focus on coming to the game?
Dino was great. It provided me with some pointers before the game, just pushing the pace and connecting the floor. Finn's been so valuable, not only for our team, but for myself to learn from a guy like that every day and go against them. He brings so much valuable stuff at that 4 position, and I've definitely learned a lot. But I think that pushing the pace and being that connector, we really wanted to see guys like Milton and CG get back in a rhythm, because they're such critical pieces to our offense. So it was good to see that, and looking to build on it.
Not an easy thing to do when a home team has the momentum that they did sort of early in that fourth quarter, and Tyrell is being as physically sort of imposing as he was. How did you, from a player's point of view, how did you feel like you turned the momentum back your way?
Just stay composed. Like, obviously they got on a bit of a run, and some of those were self-inflicted wounds. There was definitely some turnovers, rebounding, scout errors that we've got to be better as a group. But yeah, I think the composure we showed to make some big plays in that fourth quarter are really going to serve us well in January, and it's going to be the type of plays we're going to have to make in arenas like that. Like you said, the place was rocking, fans were loud, and we're going to have to battle that energy all month.
No, thank you very much, guys. I think Nick's in the room there that might want to take over.
Dash's touches and time on the ball over the course of the year have steadily decreased. Is that a thing with Dash sort of lacking aggressiveness, or is that a tactical decision on your end?
We're going to play Dash, as much as we can, and tonight, I thought in the first 3 quarters he did some really solid things. Obviously went 2 for 2 in the game. Guarded Freeman Liberty, and we had some errors on our scout. Not just on his part, but on our bigs and how we guarded. A couple of cuts from him as well. But it was a really important game, and we want to get him as many minutes as we can, but obviously the veteran guys in key moments are going to counter that.
Less so in terms of minutes, but more in terms of the time he's spending actually on the ball and creating for others. I feel has dipped over the course of the year. Is that a tactical decision from you, or is that an aggressiveness issue for Dash?
No, it's your opinion.
Okay, sure. What have you seen from Dash over the course of the season up to this point?
Yeah, Dash continues to grow as a player, as a person within our team. Talking about an 18-year-old being in a really tough pro league and being on a good team with good guys in front of him. And I love the way his shot is developing. He's always his physicality, his strength is going to another level, and he's going to be a key part of our rotation down this next month.
I've got one more online. Josh?
Cool, I'll jump in if that's all right. Congrats on the win. Dan, I just wanted to ask about giving up a 17-point lead. What sort of mental resilience is needed in that sort of situation to get back on track?
Memories of the last 2 times we've played them. I think we've had 20-point lead here and 20-point, and Jalen Adams went off, and we had 20-point lead in Melbourne, and Nordo and others made massive. Lamar Patterson. It's just like, wow, this movie's continuing right now, but somehow we were able to compose ourselves. But to me those 2 offensive rebounds, Tanner's and KB's, were just massive plays, and then as I said, to get the third one, get an offensive tip out, and Tanner to hit a 3. That was that were the moments that won the game for us. I haven't credited Fab enough, and even though Tyrell's numbers were really good, I thought he's a plus 18 in the game tonight, and I thought his contribution and his defense and rebounding and challenging shots around the rim, I thought he was a monster for us tonight.
Yeah, and just in the bigger scheme of things, where do you see your team sitting right now in its current form?
We weren't able to beat the top teams in the league, and we went to a couple of overtime games that could have went either way. But right now we haven't been able to beat those teams, and so building right now. Building obviously. We've got to try and win games without, Finn and Shea at the moment, and so that's going to build, really good depth within our squad. And then once we get those 2 back, then I think, obviously our defense goes to hopefully can go to a really high level as well.
What's the timeline on Finn and Shea?
Yeah, we think Finn could be back, next game, or he's going to be pretty quick. Shea's probably closer to the end of January.